This is now the part 8 of the LEED V4 Reference Guide for Homes Design and Construction online review. Again, all the pictures or images in this video are from Google and USGBC website. If you have comments, suggestions, or complaints regarding the images, pictures, or in this video itself, please email me at nelca_roco@yahoo.com and I will immediately reply to you and take action on whatever the reason of your email. Thank you. Why I created this online reviewer? To help myself and others to pass the LEED AB exam in one shot. These are the LEED credit categories. On my previous video, we discussed the Location and Transportation Credit 4, Community Resources. Now, we will proceed to the last credit of Location and Transportation, the Credit 5, Access to Transit. Access to Transit is the last credit of Location and Transportation. It has the maximum of 2 points and 1 exemplary performance. Access to Transit. Intent: to reduce pollution and land development effects from automobile use. It is possible for 2 points. Requirements: locate the project within a 1/4 mile or 400-meter walking distance of bus or streetcar stops, or within a 1/2 mile or 800-meter walking distance of bus rapid transit stops, light or heavy rail stations, or ferry terminals. The transit service at those stops in aggregate must meet the minimums listed in Table 1 or Table 2. A bus or streetcar stop must serve a route that extends in opposite directions. The walking distance can be the average distance to the two stops. A single stop that serves as a terminal for a transit route can be counted. Trips in opposite directions are counted separately. Only one stop per route in a given direction can be counted. Table 1. Minimum daily transit service for projects with multiple transit types. Example: bus, streetcar, rail, or ferry. Weekday trips 72. Weekend trips 40. It is 1 point. Weekday trips 144. Weekend trips 108. It is equivalent to 1.5 points. Weekday trips 360. Weekend trips 216 is equivalent to 2 points. Table 2. Minimum daily transit service for projects with commuter rail or ferry service only. Weekday trips 24, equivalent to 1 point. Weekday trips 40 is equivalent to 1.5 points. Weekday trips of 60 is equivalent to 2 points. Behind the intent, vehicles are responsible for about 20% of total U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. Globally, greenhouse gas emissions from transportation increased 17.5% from 1990 to 2010. These emissions contribute to climate change, smog, and air pollution, all of which harm human health and our ecosystems. Living near transit helps reduce the number and length of daily car trips for commuting, errands, and entertainment. A household that uses mass transit may require fewer vehicles, reducing transportation costs. Using mass transit encourages walking, which can improve health and promote community involvement. Access to transit also gives residents an alternative travel mode when gas prices occasionally spike. Step-by-step guidance. Step 1. Select project site. Select a site that is close to existing public transportation stops. For new multi-building developments, the walking distance can be measured from the center of the project, provided the distance from the center of the project to the farthest building does not exceed 1/4 mile or 400 meters. With this approach, each building in a project may qualify for this credit. For any buildings farther than 1/4 mile or 400 meters from the center of the project, distances must be recalculated for each building. Step 2. Determine project's point of origin. Confirm the street name and number of the project, or the center of the multi-building development on the Step 1. Step 3. Identify public transit stops within walking distance of project. Use Google Maps, transit agency websites, or similar online resources as well as personal observation to prepare a list of transit stops. Confirm that transit stops and terminals are located at listed locations through visual inspection. Calculate the walking distance from the project to each confirmed transit stop, a maximum of 1/4 mile or 400 meters to each bus or streetcar stop, or 1/2 mile or 800 meters to a light or commuter rail station or ferry landing is allowed in Figure 1. Straight line distance is not an acceptable way to measure walking distance. See Figure 2. Confirm that sidewalks, paths, or other pedestrian accessible routes are in place along the entire distance. Routes without pedestrian facilities are not acceptable. This is the Figure 1, showing the map of walking distance to rail stop in ArcGIS Online, copyright 2013 Esri and its data providers, all rights reserved. And in Figure 2, showing straight line distance, this approach to calculating distance is not allowed. Step 4. List transit stops, walking distance, and total trips. Prepare a table including each transit stop, calculated walking distance, and number of scheduled trips from the stop each day. Table 3. Total trips at all accessible stops. Obtain ride frequency for weekdays and weekends from the Transit Authority. If there are different schedules for each weekend day, use an average value to represent daily weekend service. Each bus and streetcar stop counted must provide service in 2 directions. Each direction is counted separately. Count only 1 stop per direction of each transit route. If 2 stops are in close proximity, use the average distance of the 2 stops. Count only bus, streetcar, and rail stops within the maximum of 1/4 mile or 400 meter walking distance. Table 1, Transit Access. And ferry, commuter rail, and bus rapid transit stops within the maximum of 1/2 mile or 800 meter walking distance. See further explanation example. We will now proceed to further explanation. Example, Table 3, Example Transit Access Calculation. In this example, stops that are too far from the project, labeled distance, or duplicate stops of the same transit route, labeled repeat, are not counted. The tabulation shows that there are 284 trips on each weekday and 144 trips each weekend day, spread among several transit stops. Based on the minimum requirements in the rating system, both the weekday trips and weekend trips meet the required threshold for 1.5 points. Related credit tips. LT Credit Community Resources. Homes within walking distance of transit may qualify for this credit as well, since community resources often locate close to transit corridors. Changes from LEED for Homes 2008. All credits formerly in the Location and Linkages category are now in the Location and Transportation category. Weekend trip requirements have been added, and the required number of trips and walk distance has changed. In LEED for Homes 2008, LL 5.1 rewarded 1 point for locating the project within 1/2 mile or 800 meters of transit services that offered 30 or more transit rides per day, 2 points for 60 or more transit rides per weekday, and 3 points for 125 or more transit rides per weekday. Contract language recommendations, none. Technical resources, none. Reference standards, none. Exemplary performance. Projects with double the maximum trips listed in the credit requirements earn 1 additional point. Verification and submittals. Supporting verification materials made available by the project team. Provide transit schedules and calculations of transit rides within 1/4 mile or 1/2 mile of building. Provide a map with transit stops circled that shows walk distance. Group project. Walking distance can be measured from center of community, provided distance from center of community to farthest building does not exceed 1/4 mile. Verification team. Verify transit schedules, transit stop locations, and calculations of transit rides within 1/4 mile or 1/2 mile of building. Glossary or definitions of terms. Walking distance. The distance that a pedestrian must travel between origins and destinations without obstruction, in a safe and comfortable environment on a continuous network of sidewalks, all-weather surface footpaths, crosswalks, or equivalent pedestrian facilities. The walking distance must be drawn from an entrance that is accessible to all building users. Streetcar, a transit service with small, individual rail cars. Spacing between stations is uniformly short and ranges from every block to 1/4 mile, and operating speeds are primarily 10 to 30 miles per hour or 15 to 50 kilometers per hour. Streetcar routes typically extend 2 to 5 miles or 3 to 8 kilometers. Bus rapid transit, an enhanced bus system that operates on exclusive bus lanes or other transit rights of way. The system is designed to combine the flexibility of buses with the efficiency of rail. This is now the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Watch for the next video, LEED V4 Homes Sustainable Sites.